Welcome to a new episode of Curiosity Chronicles. I'm glad to have you here with me for an exciting journey into the hidden mechanisms of the human mind. Today, we'll dive deep into the connection between dopamine and social media addiction. Along the way, we'll see how digital platforms take advantage of our brain's reactions to capture our attention, and why it's sometimes so hard to resist them. Let's start this journey together. 1. The role of dopamine in the brain. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, meaning it's a chemical produced by neurons, brain cells, that send signals between different parts of the brain. Known as the motivation molecule, dopamine plays a key role in the brain's reward system. For example, when we experience something pleasurable, like eating our favorite food or receiving a compliment, our brain releases dopamine, giving us a feeling of satisfaction and encouraging us to repeat the behavior. A famous experiment by researchers Roy Wise and Kent Berridge at the University of Michigan demonstrated that dopamine is linked to the anticipation of a reward. The researchers worked with monkeys, training them to expect a food reward. When the monkeys knew they were about to receive food, dopamine levels increased in their brains even before eating. This is key. Dopamine stimulates the anticipation of reward, not just the reward itself, meaning it constantly drives us to seek pleasure and satisfaction. 2. Social media addiction and the dopamine connection. Social media leverages this natural dopamine mechanism to keep users engaged. Every time we get a notification, a like, or a comment, dopamine is released in the brain, creating a temporary sense of satisfaction. This temporary boost makes us want to check apps again and again in a repetitive reward cycle. The phenomenon known as FOMO, fear of missing out, is relevant here. In a study by researchers at Nottingham University, it was observed that people who spend a lot of time on social media are more likely to experience stress and anxiety when they're offline. Constant exposure to likes and comments makes us dependent on that dose of dopamine, and this can lead to addiction. 3. Similarities between social media and casinos. Social media uses techniques similar to those of casinos to keep us hooked. For example, variable reward systems, meaning we don't get the same results every time we interact, are highly effective at generating addiction. When we scroll through a feed, we discover new and unpredictable content, which stimulates dopamine release. Similarly, slot machines in casinos have an unpredictable reward system. Players never know when or if they'll win. Studies by Yael Niv and Jonathan Cohen from Princeton University showed that the uncertainty of rewards triggers a stronger dopamine release than predictable rewards. This feeling of, maybe I'll find something interesting, keeps us engaged with social media, just as casino players are drawn to slot machines. Number 4. Strategies used by social media platforms to maximize user engagement. Social platforms have invested heavily in interface design to keep us attentive. Here are 2 key techniques. Infinite scroll. Invented by Asa Raskin in 2006, a designer working for Mozilla, this idea was simple. Instead of having an endpoint, the feed keeps loading as you scroll, giving you the feeling that there's always something new to discover. This design is based on variable rewards. You don't know what's next, and that makes you want to keep going. Red color for notifications. Neuroscience studies show that red is perceived by our brain as a warning color, because in the past, it was associated with danger and risks. That's why social media notifications are often red, to grab our attention and create a sense of urgency, as if there's something important we need to resolve. A study from the University of Texas showed that using intense colors for notifications significantly increases engagement because it activates the brain's alert response. In other words, when we see a red notification, we feel tempted to check immediately because we interpret it as an important message. And hey, while the like or subscribe button might not give you that dopamine rush, it definitely fuels mine. 5. Financial implications for social media companies. The more time we spend on these platforms, the more revenue is generated from advertising for social media companies. But how does this system work? Well, every interaction on the platform, whether it's a like, a share, or simply the time spent scrolling, creates data about our preferences and behavior. This data is collected and analyzed to create detailed user profiles, allowing companies to deliver highly targeted ads. For example, if you often like travel photos, you're more likely to see ads for vacations, hotels, or even camping gear. As these ads become more personalized, the chances of users clicking on them and spending money increase significantly. In 2023, global revenue from social media advertising exceeded $150 billion, and platforms continue to invest in advanced technologies to attract users and keep them engaged. A study by Harvard Business Review demonstrated that social media algorithms are designed to increase engagement through dopamine-stimulating strategies, creating a system equivalent to that of pleasure-inducing chemicals. In essence, these companies create a digital environment that is both captivating and profitable, capitalizing on our dependence on dopamine. Number 6, effects on users' mental and physical health. Intensive social media use impacts users' mental and physical health. Studies have shown that people who spend a lot of time on social media are more prone to anxiety and depression, partly due to social comparison. When we see idealized images of others' lives, we may start to feel inadequate or dissatisfied with our own lives. A study from JAMA Psychiatry showed that teenagers who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are at high risk of depression and anxiety. Lack of sleep is another frequent effect. Exposure to screens, especially before bedtime, disrupts circadian rhythm, affecting sleep and leading to fatigue. Constant dopamine release triggered by notifications and online interactions gradually exhausts the receptors, making it increasingly difficult to derive pleasure from regular activities like reading, sports, or spending time with friends. Physical effects include what we call text neck or tech neck, a condition caused by the unnatural posture we adopt when looking down at our phones. This can lead to chronic neck and back pain, which affects quality of life and long-term physical health. 7. Measures to manage and reduce social media addiction. To protect our health, it's essential to take steps to limit time spent on social media. For example, time monitoring apps like Apple's Screen Time allow users to see how much time they spend online and to set limits. Another effective step is a digital detox, taking breaks from social media or digital technology entirely for a certain period. A study by the University of Copenhagen showed that people who took a 1-week break from social media reported significantly improved well-being and reduced stress levels. This suggests that reducing online time can positively impact mental health. Other measures include setting clear boundaries for social media use, such as avoiding screens before bed, engaging in offline activities that bring satisfaction, sports, hobbies, and turning off constant notifications to reduce the temptation to check the phone frequently. The role of regulations and public policy. As the negative effects of social media on public health become more evident, governments are taking steps to protect users. In the European Union, the General Data Protection Regulation (GDPR) imposes strict limits on data collected by platforms, giving users more control over their personal information. There are also legislative proposals and measures aimed at reducing time spent by young people on social media. In China, for example, strict regulations limit teenagers' access to certain apps and online games, imposing a maximum number of daily hours. These measures aim to protect the healthy development of young people and combat digital addiction, encouraging responsible and balanced technology use. These regulations underscore the importance of a balanced approach to technology use and the role authorities play in protecting public health. Regulations also highlight the need for transparency, so platforms are more open about how they collect and use users' data. 9. Future perspectives and emerging trends. As our understanding of the effects of social media evolves, new technologies and initiatives are emerging to help users maintain a balance between digital and real life. For example, mindfulness and meditation apps like Headspace and Calm are gaining popularity as ways to reduce digital stress. These apps help users be more present, reduce anxiety, and manage their time on social platforms. Some social platforms are experimenting with new features that encourage moderate use, such as notifications suggesting a break or messages that alert you when you've spent a lot of time online. In the future, social media may integrate more time management tools and collaborate with mental health specialists to create a healthier digital environment. Moreover, there is an emerging trend toward encouraging digital responsibility, both among users and developers. This means companies may be encouraged to develop their platforms in ways that protect users' mental health and promote authentic, beneficial interactions. As awareness of digital impact grows, we may see a future where technology and mental health are more closely aligned. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this episode of Curiosity Chronicles, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. You might discover even more interesting things in the episodes to come. And in the meantime, remember to take a digital break now and then. Your brain will thank you. Until next time, stay curious and aware of dopamine's impact on our digital lives.